The imposition of another EU sanctions package on Russia, including the introduction of an oil embargo, is still blocked by the countries that are most dependent on Russian gas, namely Slovakia, the Czech Republic and Hungary.
We are upset, to say the least, to see how the sixth sanctions package by the European Union is hanging in the air. And the war in Donbass, the battle for Donbass, is very much like the battles of the Second World War.
During the last day of the International Economic Forum in Davos, the mayor of Kiev, Vitaly Klitschko, for the last time asked the current politicians and businessmen to continue supporting Ukraine, because without international cooperation, his homeland would not be able to cope with the Russian aggressor.
Thank you. Have a nice day. And we still fighting, still defending our country. And I drive back to Ukraine, and main priority, save Ukraine, save the world, save the peace in the world.
Volodymyr Zelensky summed up the forum in Davos in strong words. The president of Ukraine referred to the history and also referred to the words of former US Secretary of State. Henry Kissinger believes that Russia cannot be humiliated and that Ukraine should consider territorial losses in exchange for peace. Whatever the Russian state does, there is someone who will say, let us consider their interests. This year at Davos, it was made clear, despite the thousands of Russian missiles hitting Ukraine, despite tens of thousands of Ukrainians killed, significant articles have started appearing in some Western media stating that Ukraine should accept so-called tough compromises by giving up some territory in exchange for peace. But we are now in 2022, not 1938, and we're speaking in Davos, not Munich. During the official closing of the Economic Forum, the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz expressed his conviction that Putin would not win the war, and that each subsequent day of the invasion confirms the bravery and effectiveness of Ukrainian soldiers. Putin has not managed to achieve all strategic goals in Ukraine. The takeover of all Ukraine by Russia seems more distant today than at the beginning of the war. Therefore, more than ever, Ukraine is emphasizing its European future. Meanwhile, the meeting of the G7 Economy, Climate and Environment Ministers has started today in Berlin. German Vice-Chancellor Robert Habeck stressed at the very beginning how crucial it is to end the war in Ukraine immediately, to give up Russian resources. It is very important that Europe remains united. Therefore, all countries must make efforts to reduce dependence on oil. This also applies to Hungary. If you take it as a basis for discussion, agreement should be possible. Intensive talks on the embargo are currently underway. In a few days, we will have another meeting of the European Council. We assume that we will reach an agreement, or we will consider other options. The European oil embargo is widely seen as the best way to reduce Russia's revenues and thus limit its ability to wage war. Earlier, such embargoes were imposed by the United States and the United Kingdom. As part of the fifth package of EU sanctions, a ban on imports of coal from Russia was imposed, which will enter force in August. It will be much more difficult with oil, and even if all 27 countries agree, the embargo will not enter into force until next year.